Aspasianus did not finish the job. He succeeded to oppress the rebellion in the Galilee. But when he came to Jerusalem, he heard about the problems in Rome. Many rulers of Rome were murdered, and he decided to stop the war in Jerusalem. He went to Rome, and there he became the Caesar, the emperor, the ruler of the Roman Empire. He sent his son, Titus, to complete the job and to finish the war in Jerusalem. Titus came to Jerusalem just before Passover, before Chag HaPesach, 70 BC, 70 CE, Shnat Shiv'im LaSfira, 70 CE. And here he stood on top of Mount Scopus, we are on Mount Scopus, and looked at Jerusalem. He brought the Roman army, more than 60,000 soldiers, to Mount Scopus, and from here he planned the war to finish and to oppress the rebellion of the Jewish people. We shall describe the war on Jerusalem, not here from Mount Scopus, but in the Israel Museum. There we have a model of Jerusalem, of the Second Temple, and there we shall describe the stages of the war. Come with me to Israel Museum, and there we shall tell about the war and the destruction of the temple. Come with me. We are now in the Israel Museum in Jerusalem. We can see the shrine of the book where the Dead Sea Scrolls were brought to the Israel Museum. The Dead Sea Scrolls are the books of the Bible written in the time of the Second Temple. We can see here a model of Jerusalem in the end of the Second Temple. This is exactly what Titus saw when he came to conquer Jerusalem. It was right before Passover, in the year 70 BC. Titus came with the Roman army. He located the camp on the ridge of the Mount of Olives, and what he saw was exactly, he saw Jerusalem, exactly as we see it now. The temple in the center of Jerusalem, Jerusalem surrounded by three walls. The first wall, the ancient wall from the time of the first temple, the second wall, which was built later by King Herod, and the third wall in the northern part of Jerusalem. This is exactly what Titus saw when he came to Jerusalem. In order to complete his mission, he had to find the weakest part of Jerusalem. And we can see that the weakest part of Jerusalem is in the northern part. Jerusalem is surrounded by deep canyons, both in the east, the Wadi of Kidron, and in the west. In the north, we can see that there is no wadi, no canyon. So Titus decided to begin his attack on Jerusalem in the northern part, This is the third wall of Jerusalem. And he brought all the army to that part of Jerusalem. Come with me to the northern part of Jerusalem, and there we shall describe the attack of Titus, the beginning of the attack of Titus on Jerusalem. Come with me. We are now in the northern part of Jerusalem. We can see the third wall. This wall was built by King Agrippas I, and later it was completed in the first year of the rebellion. We see the northern neighborhoods of Jerusalem of the Second Temple. As we've said, this is the weakest part of Jerusalem. The Roman army attacked Jerusalem from the north. The first goal of the Roman army is the third wall, to break the third wall and to enter the northern part of Jerusalem. After fierce battles that took place after Passover, the Roman army succeeded to break the wall and enter the northern neighborhoods of Jerusalem. Then it had to fight and break through the second wall. We see the second wall. Again, fierce battles, thousands of soldiers killed from both sides. And then, after several weeks, the next purpose is the citadel of Antonia. We see the four towers of that citadel, and the Roman army succeeded to enter the citadel, but did not succeed to enter the Temple Mount. Then Titus decided to build a wall surrounding Jerusalem in order to bring the people of Jerusalem to total starvation. He believed that they would not be able to survive the siege, and only after 2 months of siege, the people of Jerusalem really were starved to death. He renewed his attack on the Temple Mount. After the destruction of the temple, the Jewish people did not give up, did not surrender. The Jewish rebels, the Jewish fighters continued fighting against the Roman army. The rest of the fighters came to the southern part. Here we can see the southern part of Jerusalem, and continued fighting against the Roman army. Only after a whole month, the Roman army succeeded to break into the southern part of Jerusalem. It was Chet Be'elul, the 8th day of Elul, and a terrible massacre took place. They killed all the people of Jerusalem, children, women, old people. But after this massacre, there were a few rebels who succeeded to hide in the tunnels of Jerusalem. We can see here the tunnels of Jerusalem that brought the water from the top of the mountain to the valley of Kidron. But again, the Roman soldiers succeeded to find them and took the leaders of the rebels, of the rebellion, to Rome, to the parade of the victory that took place in Rome. Jerusalem was totally destroyed. Josephus tells us that more than 1 million Jews were killed in this rebellion. And from here, we shall go to the city of Jerusalem itself, to the old city of Jerusalem, and there we shall see the remnants of the destruction of Jerusalem. Come with me to the old city of Jerusalem. Come with me. We've seen the war in Jerusalem. It took the Roman army almost half a year in order to conquer Jerusalem. Jerusalem was destroyed. Here we can see the remnants of Jerusalem. We are now in the southern part of the Western Wall. The Western Wall was much, much higher. The upper part was destroyed. This was a street with stores and huge buildings. Jerusalem was totally burnt and destroyed. But one of the soldiers, one of the Jewish fighters, wrote one of the phrases, verses from Isaiah. 50 years ago, after the Six-Day War, this area was excavated by Professor Binyamin Mazar, and he found on one of the stones of the Western Wall, he found a verse from the book of Isaiah, Yeshayahu. Uritem vesas libchem. And you will be filled with joy when the people of Israel will come back to the land of Israel after the exile. The Jewish people will be full of joy. Uritem vesas libchem. V'atzmotam kadeshet tivrachna. And here, in this place, where we see the remnants of the destruction of the Second Temple, of Jerusalem, of the Second Temple, we are privileged to live in a generation in which we can see not only the destruction, but the redemption, the return of the Jewish people to its homeland. And the Jewish soldier who wrote these words on the Western Wall after the destruction, he was right. The Roman Empire remained in museums, but the Jewish people is alive. And the Jewish people returned to its homeland. And 50 years ago returned to the land of, to Jerusalem, to the united Jerusalem. Here we can say that God fulfilled His promise to the people of Israel through, as written in the Bible, as written in the book of Isaiah. But in spite of the destruction of Jerusalem, the Jewish people did not give up, did not surrender. The war against the Roman Empire continued, and it continued in the Judean desert. Come with me to Herodion, to Mechvar, to Masada, and there we shall describe the last chapter of the rebellion of the Jewish people against the Roman Empire. Come with me to Herodion and Masada.